wonder what's going to happen now. Like...
When humanity stands strong, and people reach out for each other, there's no need for gods. Rhea, your reign of tyranny is over.
Ooh. Dragon Breath attack?
The time has come.
Yep, there we go. Very anime.
I'm ending this once and for all.
That's pretty cool. Green blood too.
Is it over?
Oh. No heartbeat. Oh. Right. That's why. There was a crest stone on my heart. Yay! I'm alive! Woo! And the hair's back to normal. Wait, purple eyes. Well then. Cool! We did it! Save progress. Save the game. I assume it's going to go into the big paired endings thing now.
A rising flame was alight as the flow of time carved a new history for Fódlan. With the fall of Ferdiad, the Holy Kingdom of Fargus and the Church of Seros both vanished into the people's memories. Fódlan was finally one unified nation, under the rule of Emperor Edelgard and the Adrestine Empire. Embracing her newfound power, Edelgard could at last set about destroying Fódlan's entrenched system of nobility and rebuild a world free from the tyranny of crests and status.
Woo, yeah!
Yet,
Hey,
beneath
use
the
some channel
surface,
points.
An
Nice.
unseen and silent struggle began to take shape. From her seat of power, Edelgard could at last wage war on those who slither in the dark.
And there's Hubert sneaking in the back. Waging war on those who slither in the dark as well. Oh. Woohoo! Ooh, Goddess Tower.
Sorry for making
Hey!
you wait. Negotiations went long.
That took forever! It did.
Not curious about the contract? They wanted me to stay on as a mercenary, but I said no. I've been considering a different kind of commitment instead.
Oh.
Less of a contract, more of a promise.
I'd like that.
Good. I thought you might want to follow Fódlan tradition and exchange rings.
Here's my ring. Ooh. Nice and simple.
That's that. Shall we be off?
Is there anything else?
What's wrong? Were you expecting more? We've been fighting together for so long. No need for words.
Yeah, she's right.
I've said enough. Right?
This is a special occasion!
I can see this is important to you. Fine then. I vow to stay with you through all of life's many hardships. I will stay by your side, and you'll stay by mine. I left Dagda, crossed through Bridget, and came to Fódlan on my own. I chose the life of a mercenary, alone, and free to live wherever and however I pleased. Now I'm choosing to remain here. to live the rest of my life with you. Is that enough? I'm just embarrassed.
That's enough. That was wonderful.
Look at us. We have no idea what to do with ourselves. But you're right. This is a special day. Now then, are you ready to go?
Let's stay a little longer.
Fine. We can stay.
Ah, she's blushing.
I've already made a fool of myself. No point in trying to avoid it now. So, what else is there to talk about? Oh, right. Remember when I mentioned how much you have in common with my old partner?
Yeah, I was hoping you'd explain a bit more about that.
I don't think that's actually true.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't want to admit that I was attracted to you. So, I convinced myself that I was just pining for the past. I was worried that revealing those feelings would ruin our friendship. Anyway,
Aww.
it's your turn to talk.
Look, she's so embarrassed. She's blushing so much. That is a very un-Shamir looking like portrait, I guess. I mean, the actual cutscene in the background, not the actual portrait that's blushing now. This is one of the ones that I had never seen. Like, as I was like going through thumbnails to make for YouTube uploads and stuff like that, I eventually saw quite a few of these like end of game marriage cutscene stills, but I never saw the Shamir one, and this is cool. I like this.
Tell me about your past.
There isn't much to tell.
You're lucky I love you. Otherwise, I wouldn't let you get away with an answer like that.
I'm not expecting you to. Also, now that her hair's changed back to her original color, it matches her jacket again, which I like. There we go. Battle data. Is it going to tell me how many times I used Divine Pulse on the last battle? It was like 7, right? But it's going to go through all the different MVPs. So I guess this is as good as time as any to say that, yep, I would say that this game is my game of the year for 2019. I think it's a shame that it didn't get quite recognized as such in the Game Awards, especially over a game like Death Stranding, which is very polarizing, but I understand that people don't necessarily like strategy role-playing games. It's a niche genre compared to everything else. But this is a great game. And like I said, I've only seen 1/4 of it, because there's the whole Blue Lions, there's the whole of Golden Deer, and there's the whole of the Church of Seraph side of things. Now, I have seen most of the paralogs, I would say, because I recruited basically everyone I could. But I think it was, fun to do, and it made sense to do it so that I had something to do in every in-game week. Towards the end of the game, I was like, well, I've got no more paralogs to do, so I'm kind of just like skipping to the end of the month. But I'm glad I did all the paralogs. And yeah, it's even showing in here, like Paralog Death Toll. I was the MVP as the Enlightened one. I've been asked a couple of questions about whether I'm going to stream or record myself playing the other routes, and I think the answer to that is no. This game took me 6 real-life months, like from August to January 2020. August 2019 to January 2020. I don't think I can play all of the different routes in a reasonable time frame. There's going to be other games that me and Pimmsy want to play. There's other games that I want to play now, like The Witcher 3, the new Witcher series has been released on Netflix, and I still haven't actually finished off the Blood and Wine DLC. So I do want to go back to that. So I think that I will not be streaming or recording myself playing through Blue Lions, Golden Deer, Church of Seraph. I think it's Silver Snow, that one. But at the same time, I would like to do more Fire Emblem related stuff. Other games are a lot shorter. Survivor of the Curse. Ooh. Alright, I'm going to have to speak through all these. So, Survivor of the Curse, Marianne. Marianne returned home to a hero's welcome. The people praised her talent and acknowledged her as a savior of Fódlan. Her adoptive father groomed her as her successor. Teaching her the power of words over the weapons. By the time she claimed her inheritance, something else I can't... Wow, I was expecting there to be longer there, but never mind. Alois, family man. Once the long war against those who slither in the dark came to an end, Alois and his family moved to Ramaya village and lived happily as farmers. It is said that from the moment he put down his sword and picked up a hoe, he never so much as thought about turning back. Anna, traveling merchant. Anna's business savvy proved to be a great asset in the post-war reconstruction of Garegg Mach. Once the restoration was complete, she disappeared from the area entirely, though tales of mysterious merchant were passed down in every corner of the world for centuries to come. Some say she continues her travels even to this day, eternally peddling her wares and ever in search of the next lucrative opportunity. Hint, hint, she's going to be in more Fire Emblem games. Annette's bloomed overachiever. Annette returned to her hometown of Fódlan, where she took up a teaching position at the Royal School of Sorcery. She was a gifted instructor, and many of her students went on to become world-renowned sages. Though her talent for teaching was remarkable in its own right, she was perhaps best remembered for effortlessly securing the trust and respect of her many students, as well as inspiring all who knew her by living a life of kindness, cheer, and humility. Father of Crestology, Hanneman. Though Fódlan had changed, Hanneman's goal remained unwavering: to determine the workings of the crests and to do away with the inequality caused by them. To that end, his research resulted in magical tools that could be used even without the aid of crests. This proved to be yet another worthwhile discovery by the Father of Crestology. Lorenz, Noble of the Red Rose. Soon after the war, Lorenz assumed leadership over House Gloucester and joined the realm of imperial politics as a representative of the Old Alliance Lords. His political talent yielded revolutionary policy changes, many of which were particularly beneficial to the common folk. Beast of Leicester, Raphael. Raphael returned to his hometown to serve his liege lord as a knight. After years of loyal service, he resigned his duty to devote his attention to the inn that his grandfather and sister had opened during his time away. Eventually, he became the inn's proprietor and developed a reputation for astonishingly good cooking. Well, he should do, he'd eat it all. Scholar of Misfortune, Lysithea. Lysithea returned home to help her parents restore their family land. Years later, when the end to their hard work was finally in sight, she relinquished House Ordelia's claim to nobility, ceding the territory to a nearby lord. Shortly thereafter, she and her family disappeared into obscurity. Divine Songstress Manuela. Manuela left Garegg Mach to build her own academy in a small war-torn town. There she contributed heavily to rebuilding efforts while teaching future generations the necessary skills of survival. Though she never married or had children of her own, she spent the last years of her life happily devoted to her students. That's a bit sad. She was, like, not desperate to get married, but kind of. Sylvain, sincerest of knights. As Margrave Gautier, Sylvain devoted his life to improving relations with the people of the Sreng region. With Oration Hill alone, he succeeded in helping to create a new way of life for nobles in which relics and crests were no longer viewed as necessary. Though he went down in history as an extraordinary lord, it nevertheless became customary to refer to cheaters as Sons of Gautier. That must really suck. Arrow of Justice, Ash. After the war, Ash was formally knighted and appointed the new head of House Gaspard, which had no successors. His warm, sincere attitude towards his students was praised all over Fódlan, and Ash was finally recognized as the ideal knight he'd always hoped to be. His deeds live on in countless tales. Worldly artist Ignatz. After returning home, Ignatz persuaded his family that he should become a painter. He traveled all through Fódlan and beyond, painting beautiful landscapes and captivating portraits of the world's cultures. His unique style set the artistic paradigm for a generation. Sleepy Crest scholar Linhardt. Linhardt abandoned his inherited position in favor of a carefree life at Garegg Mach Monastery. There he spent his days at ease, whiling away the hours at the fishing pond or in his private study. After his passing, a treasure trove of documents was unearthed, revealing the key discoveries he had made during his many years of crest research. That's the first time someone's been described to have died. The Bladebreaker 2, Leonie. Leonie joined up with the mercenaries formerly led by Geralt as his greatest apprentice. Hey, she quickly took on a leadership role and eventually even inherited the title of Bladebreaker. She came to be known as Geralt II as she began to resemble him in all things, including his drinking habits. She left behind many unpaid tavern tabs. Pay your debts. Meandering Sword Felix. Even after the war's end, skirmishes continued to break out across Fódlan. Bored and restless in his capacity as Duke Fraldarius, Felix abandoned his title, jumping at the opportunity to wield a sword again. Little is known about his whereabouts thereafter, but even many years later, soldiers continue to whisper rumors of a mysterious man able to deal swift death to scores of enemies. Stalwart Knight Ingrid. When Galatea territory was seized, Ingrid argued strongly for the preservation of its borders. Her request was granted and she was appointed to rule. From her new position, she gave her all to ensure that the people of Galatea lived peaceful lives and put in years of hard work to reform its farming practices. Her efforts bore fruit to the people's delight, and Galatea became a land of plenty. Hot-headed General Caspar. In recognition of his achievements during the war, Caspar was given the title of Minister of Military Affairs in the new Adrestian Empire. Though his command developed a reputation for occasional recklessness, he proved an able leader, guiding his troops to overcome countless obstacles. Long after his career had ended, tall tales of the glory and good cheer that he brought to his army endured. Mercedes and Yuritsa, benevolent soul and bloodstained demon. Once those who slither in the dark were finally defeated, Mercedes left home and opened a small orphanage in the Fargus region with her mother. After many years of kind service raising children who had lost their families, she received a letter bearing familiar handwriting. Its author, a prisoner in Enbar, expressed his sincerest well wishes to Mercedes and family. Still more time passed until one day the man who wrote the letter paid her a visit. With joyful tears in her eyes, Mercedes smiled, took Emil by the hand, and at last welcomed him home. Oh, that's great. Dorothea, mystical songstress. Dorothea returned to the Mittelfrank Opera as soon as the war was over. Thanks to her talent, the company enjoyed a resurgence in popularity that lasted well beyond the end of her own career. When she gave up her position as a songstress, she settled down to a private life of peace and quiet. It is said that she was very happily married. Queen of Brigid, Petra. Petra returned to her homeland of Brigid and inherited the throne from her grandfather. As ruler, she declared independence from Fódlan and worked tirelessly to secure friendly relations with both Fódlan and Dagda. Her efforts inspired her descendants to carry the torch she lit, ensuring a future of peace and prosperity for her people. Noblest of nobles Ferdinand and eternal loner Bernadetta. Why are they paired? After the war, Bernadetta renounced her claim to Varley. She married Ferdinand, the new Duke Aya, and the two contributed to relief efforts by instituting reforms across their dukedom. Due to the success of those policies, Ferdinand was offered the position of Prime Minister by the Emperor. He accepted, leaving the management of Aya territory to his wife, while he worked to apply their ideas to the Empire at large. Since Bernadetta did not like to leave home, Ferdinand's life involved a lot of travel to and from the capital, but it is said he is always embarked on his return home with a smile on his face. Edelgard the Flame Emperor and Emperor's confidant Hubert. As the new Adrestian Emperor, Edelgard gave all she had to breathe new life into the government of Fódlan. With tireless work, great sacrifice, and her devoted servant Hubert by her side, she instituted a new class reforms and helped to ensure the people's independence. Hubert's always close at hand, ready to dispose of unsavory burdens by any means necessary. In their later years, they passed the fruits of their labor onto Edelgard's successor and vanished from the public eye. Though it said they had spent the rest of their lives together, it was unlikely they ever gave voice to the true depths of their affections. And Wings of the Hegemon, RiggyRob, and Distant Archer Shamir. Shortly after RiggyRob and Shamir had finished their modest and stately wedding ceremony, the struggle against those who slid in the dark began in earnest. The pair fought in many battles together, and Shamir lent her talent and experience as a sniper for the Knights of Seros to the cause of lasting peace of Fódlan. As a couple, their daily lives were busy indeed, and both are fameless taciturn, but it's said that they cherished their quiet time together, especially once they began to have children. There we go. Wow, so Ferdinand and Bernadetta getting an A support together meant they married. They got a paired ending. Damn. Wow, I did not expect that. Okay. And there we go, there's the staff credits. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think I've kind of summed up my thoughts for this already. I'm very much excited to play through the rest of the different routes, especially on New Game Plus, where I can unlock all of the different support options instantly. It's going to be interesting how that works with A supports and paired endings, though, because if I unlock the A support for Ferdinand and Bernadetta first, does that mean they get another paired ending? Or does it mean that it's the last one I do unlocked as an A support ending with a pair of them? I don't know. I guess I might as well give a couple of thoughts on that final map. That's just awkward. Like, I get they needed to balance the movement stats of the master classes But at the point where you're worried about Master Class's movement, you're kind of already saying that Wyvern Lords and Pegasus Knights are the best units no matter what. Which they are, because being able to move around the entire map with no restrictions is what makes them the best ones. They don't really have any weaknesses other than to bows, and Wyvern Lords are a bit weak to magic, but it's not effective magic. Which is, again, a weird thing, because they changed that for the Tellius games, and I think that made them a little bit weaker. But they needed to be, because otherwise it was improperly balanced. But in this game, anyone can be a Wyvern Lord, as long as they've got their flying stat scaled up appropriately, so I don't know how it works. And I'm not saying that I know how to balance a game like this, because this is an extraordinarily complex game to be like, we need to make sure that the weapons are appropriate, we need to make sure that everyone, you know, is leveled appropriately, the experience gain is right. I probably made this harder for myself because I spread out how much I was giving to everyone. So because I recruited everyone, that meant more people got more experience. So it was spread out across thinner. So my main team, which was basically Edelgard, Petra, Bernie, Dorothea, Linhart, plus some others, didn't get as much experience as they could have done. But I think at the same time it made the game a bit more challenging. I got frustrated with having to Divine Pulse 7 times, or 5 times in a row for the Crest of the Beast paralogue. But, you know, for a hard classic playthrough, I think that was about right. You know? I'm trying to imagine playing this game with only like 2 or 3 Divine Pulse charging. It's like, well, at that point it's kind of like you need to really rethink what you started off doing and what you did in between then and when you used Divine Pulse. But I like Divine Pulse, you know, it's kind of a happy medium between we're going to make you, well, not make you restart the chapter when someone dies, because that's kind of what people just did anyway. But they're like, well, we've got casual mode for those people now, and we want to make it so that it's not punishing, but it is like a negative effect when someone dies. So being able to reverse time, go back a few turns, redo your moves, change the RNG, which is not entirely clear about how the RNG actually changes, because when I tried it in that last map, didn't really seem to change all that much, even though I did things in different orders and tried to find a different way of making someone survive. But yeah, the last map, it was just the terrain. It wasn't the fact that it was on fire, it was the fact that it stopped me from moving that was annoying. But well. So yeah, I'm excited to see what else they've got in store. I think when it comes to the story DLC, I don't know whether it's going to be a paralogue. I don't know if it's going to be a new route. I've already mentioned that I've made a save at the end of the game on Crimson Flower route, just in case it's a Crimson Flower specific thing. Like, I got really lucky in that the way I played the game slowly, it meant that I could recruit Anna, it meant I could recruit Yaritza because I was on the correct route. So the fact that I got lucky with that kind of suggests to me that I need to have a save free so that I can be like, you know, oh, Ratana, that's learning, that's weird. I needed to be able to have, hey, Cassandra Lee Morris, see, it was Morgana. I needed to have a save free to be able to be like, if I decide to do some short streams of what the story DLC is, then I can showcase that. But like a story DLC could be a couple of maps, it could be an entire route. Yeah, it's just gonna take me a long time to get through stuff. It takes us a while to play through games, you know, being an adult, not finding the time to be able to play through games all the way. I have to pick and choose which ones I want to play, I really do need to play. And I think I've mentioned in my New Year's resolutions for 2020, I'm going to try and stop buying games before I finish the games I already have. And this game took 130 hours, 140 hours to do one route. So to do the rest, it'll probably take me like 300 hours in total because I can go through it a bit quicker because of New Game Plus and everything. But yeah. Hopefully we'll be able to stream and finish games more often. We will do the thing of playing through a game as it comes out, and then we'll be able to be like, yes, we had Pokemon Shield came out, we played through it, we finished it in a month. That's a lot quicker than what we usually do. This game took me 6 months to do, and well, I'm not glad it's over because I do like playing this game, but I am glad that I am done streaming, if that makes sense. Because I do want to move on to other things. You know, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X aren't out, but from between now and when they do come out, there might be other games that come out that I want to play. Breath of the Wild 2 will come out at some point. I imagine Pimmsy and I will want to stream that at some point. So, yeah. Lots of things to look forward to in the future. Now, I don't know how long these credits are going to go on for. I might want to skip this. Because I don't know if you could tell, but I do have something I need to do in about... Well, technically I should have done it 10 minutes ago. But I'm going to see if I can last out the credit roll. Although I'm seeing some names that I don't recognize, so maybe I'll be able to skip this. Yes, let's skip. I do like to give thanks to the people that made this game, but it gets to a while. Do you want to save cleared game data? This data can be used to start a new game. Plus, if you intend to play your previous data, please save your cleared game data to another file. Okay, so if I press B... So I've got my save right at the top here, which is the start of the month of chapter 17, and then from there on I just made like sequential saves after that. So if I'm going to do a New Game Plus playthrough, I'm going to make sure it's from the bottom up, I think. So file 25, yes, save cleared game data. There we go. And Real Pie Master asks, how are your cats? Yeah, they're good. They're probably asleep somewhere. Hey, Sothis is asleep as well. Fancy that. And we can press any button and we'll continue. I imagine continue will be... Hey, you get a little Sothis icon. Cool. But this will probably go straight into New Game Plus playthrough, and I can't do that. I haven't got the time, so... But yeah, this is a great game. This is my Game of the Year 2019. I'm glad I've played it. If you've been watching this, I hope you've enjoyed it too. I would heavily recommend that you play this game yourselves. Go out and get it. You will get your value for money if you enjoy this type of game. It is legitimately fantastic. So yeah. So I guess I'll wrap up now. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can follow us at twitch.tv/RiggyRob. You can also subscribe to us because we are Twitch affiliates. When we reach 50 sub points, we'll be adding face cams to our streams with our new setup because we're in a different place at the moment now. I make sure these streams get uploaded to YouTube afterwards, which is possibly where you're watching this now, over on RiggyRob and Pimmsy Play. Type in youtube.com/RiggyRob Pimmsy Play, or just type in RiggyRob into Google or YouTube search bars and you should find us. You can also follow us on Discord and Twitter, and that'll tell you when we go live and things like that. So it's good to keep like notified of when we, stream, what we stream, when we're streaming something different to what we said we were going to do, when we were going to do it, stuff like that. So, and we have a schedule underneath our Twitch stream. We've got Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Started a little bit later today. It's Sunday. I think it's about 10:30, and it's now 20 to 4 in the afternoon. Been going for 5 hours. I really should have stopped after doing the chapter 17 battle, but, well, whatever. It's done. It's done. I'm glad. I'm happy. It's a great game. Really enjoyed it. So, yeah. Alright. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time.